Elder One, Tartt, Psychologist, Servants, bridging church and psychology together. And I am excited about bringing you this first webinar called Saving Our Sons, How Single Moms Can Raise Boys into Smart, Well-Disciplined, Successful Men. This is for any mom out there, whether you are single or actually have the responsibility, even if you're married or in a relationship, of raising your son, which is pretty common. A lot of times moms do a lot of the parenting, especially if your son's father or your husband works a lot. It's a lot of responsibility when it comes to the house comes on moms. And so I'm doing this presentation for you because it is very important that as a woman you learn how to parent a boy, because it is very different from parenting a girl. I know because I am a father of a girl, and it's very different. So what will work with boys won't work with girls, and vice versa. So what I want you to do is I want you to sit back. I want you to actually take some notes, and I want you to think about what you want to do when it comes to raising your son. This hour-long presentation is going to show you how to raise your son, regardless of his circumstance, into a smart, well-disciplined, and successful man. And I've been doing this for going on 16 years now as a clinical psychologist here in Atlanta, Georgia. I am from Morehouse College, as well as I have a PhD from the University of Michigan, where I was the youngest African American to get his PhD in clinical psychology. So I know my stuff. I'm excited about giving it to you right now. All right, so let's dive right in. All right, let's talk about some statistics for single parent homes. 10.4 million moms are raising boys. That number is even higher when you include moms that have the primary responsibility, even in relationships, of raising their sons. 22 million children living in homes away from their fathers. 50% of kids will spend at least some time in home without a father before they graduate from high school. And then 10 years of divorce, 2/3 of children report not seeing their father within the last year. So this is a growing phenomenon, unfortunately. But the good news is you can raise your son to be dynamic even when dad is absent or out of the picture, or you have most of the responsibility when it comes to raising your son, because I'm going to give you everything that you need to know. And you're going to smile and relax and know and not worry about whether you're doing the right thing, because you'll know that what you're doing is effective and already has gotten you results. Now, I know as a mom, you may worry that you don't know how to raise your son to be a great man because you're a woman. I mean, you know the right things, but you don't know exactly what to teach him. Or you may not know how to balance your love and your parenting life. Or maybe you don't know how to handle your son's father or fathers. I don't know how to properly discipline your son to get that respect that is needed. Or maybe don't know how to get your son on the honor roll. Believe it or not, in this presentation, I'm going to show you how to do all of that, because I want to replace your worry with belief. Change your energy from worry into belief. And what helps us believe is when we know that we're doing the right thing. If you stay the course, you're going to be able to turn his life around, and you're going to have a son that you're proud of. You're going to be proud of him anyway, but you'll be proud of the way that you raised him, even if you have to do it by yourself. And this is absolutely a ministry for me, so I'm so excited to give you the information to make you just feel a sense of energy and belief when it comes to raising his son. All right, let's talk about the negative statistics, because this is important. This is why you should watch this webinar. 63% of youth suicides are from fatherless homes. Boys without fathers are twice as likely to go to prison. Boys who grow up without a strong influence from their father tend to perpetuate the cycle of not being there for their sons. And then boys who grow up without their fathers are more likely to drop out of school. So those are some pretty serious risk factors. And I want you to smile, because we're going to reverse all of those. We're going to make sure that your kids are at 37% of kids that do not have youth suicide or depression or anxiety or a low honor roll or lack of hope. I want to make sure that you understand. So this is critical. All right, there's some important research done for single moms. I believe in giving you research and things that are proven versus just giving you opinions, because if you're going to spend your money on this, you need to make sure that you're getting something that's actually worked. Dr. Henry Rasuti, and I hope that's how you say his name, out of Cornell University, concluded that single parenting does not appear to have a negative influence on the behavior or educational performance of mom's children. That's right, it's a myth. Here's the important thing. Instead, it's the mother's ability and attitude that are pivotal to your son's success. So in essence, it's your reaction to his father's absence that matters most. And here's what you need to know. If you as a mom feel that you can guide your son to success, no matter what, you never quit, you adapt, and you make sure that your son prospers, that's all you need. So let me break that down. That means you have big faith. You have big faith that you can raise your son to be successful no matter what. And all you need is the skill set. All you need is the skills. You need the know-how, the expertise. You need to be able to consult with a psychologist or a parenting expert, teen expert, and say, hey, what am I supposed to do? So it doesn't matter how many degrees you have. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter whether you are doing this by yourself or whether you're a grandmom or a foster parent, adoptive parent. It doesn't matter. All you need is big faith. And because, I love God, when we activate big faith in God and raising our kids, we unleash a power that wills them to success. When we throw it up to God and say, God, I know I can do this. I don't necessarily know how to see it. All I have to do is have big faith that you're going to help me to raise my son to be a dynamic man. That's all that you need, and that is backed up in the research. Now, the negative side of that is if you're saying, I don't know how to raise my son, this is bigger than me, I don't know where to begin, he's doomed, I really wish I would have had girls, I don't know how to raise him, and you throw your hands up and you quit, then you are really doing a disservice to your son. And I get it. You get frustrated. And sons can be outright disrespectful and disappointed and disappoint you. And when they make poor grades and poor decisions, it makes you look bad even though you're doing all of the parenting or most of the parenting. I get it. Hold tight. I'm going to tell you exactly what to do to reverse course if he is going in the wrong direction. Remember, I'm a clinical psychologist, so I do this every day, and I'm used to dealing with kids in pretty difficult situations, from failing to repeating to being disrespectful, from being on a roll and then their grades dropping, are really struggling when they go from elementary school to middle school, or middle school to high school, or even high school to college. From kids that have problems with the court, the law, from juvenile court, you name it. Kids with fathers in their life, out of their lives, doesn't matter. Foster care, I have done it all. God be the glory. Now, let's talk about good stuff. Yes, let's talk about famous men raised by single moms. Let's start with our own president, Barack Obama. He was raised by his mother, former President Bill Clinton. So, 2, 3 of our last presidents have been, our last Democratic presidents have been raised by their moms. So that's the highest position. That's the father of the nation. Who would think that you could produce the father of the nation not being raised by their fathers? That's the strength of you moms. And we know about the surgeon, Dr. Ben Carson, Usher Raymond, if you want to talk about entertainment, LeBron James, if you want to talk about basketball, Les Brown, the motivational speaker, who was raised by his by his grandmother, and then Malcolm X. So you look at the whole gamut. Tom Cruise, Alan Greenspan. If you want to look at the whole 360 degrees, women have been raising boys to be dynamic men for centuries, and you're going to be no different. Now, let's talk about what you need to do to be able to do that, since I've convinced you that it can be done and it has been done already. Now, let me go over something that's pretty clear, because my opinion in doing this for the last 16 years, when you merge faith or ministry and psychology and healing, that's the best way for me to talk to you about belief, and also give you the practical application as to what to do. So I'm going to give you the inspiration, which is right now, and then I'm going to tell you exactly what to do to be able to raise your son to be a successful, smart, dynamic young man of high character and quality. All right, now, this is how you upgrade your life. This is the 4 godly deeds that I got from Bishop Dale C. Bronner, who is a pastor at Word of Faith Church here in Atlanta, Georgia, where I attend, and one of my spiritual mentors. Now, he talked about the first step being declaration. This is where you declare to God what you want. You can also call it lording. This is where you declare and say, I really want something more for my life. I want my son to be dynamic. I want my son to be able to make good grades and go to college and have a good life. You declare it. You have to put it out there in the universe. And then the next thing that happens, this is very critical, is distress. This is where you're tearing down the present to make room for the bigger you. I call it lessening. So whenever you declare something, the next step is always going to be distress. And that is where a lot of people, especially non-believers, really start becoming discouraged because you declare that you want more, and then as soon as you declare that you want more, your son gets in trouble, or gets someone pregnant, or gets arrested, or makes a bad decision. And you're like, as soon as I want more for my life, here it is, my son is backslidden. Those things are going to happen when it comes to parenting. Now, a lot of those things are going to go away after this presentation because you'll know exactly what to do. But the distress is necessary. And let me tell you why. It's necessary for the third piece, which is development. This is where you're adding new and improved skills to transform the old you into the new you that you first declared. I call this learning. So think about this in terms of muscle development. If you go to the gym or losing weight, you declare you want a better body. All right. And then you put your body through distress. I mean, you get on that treadmill, you lift weights, you feel worse than you did before you worked out. But guess what's happened? You're tearing down those muscles to be replaced by leaner, stronger muscles. And that's where you're developing. And in that development, you are adding muscle and things that you need. And then it goes to the fourth D, which is demonstration. This is where you're living in your purpose to fulfill your destiny. You know, as a mom, that a large part of how you feel is being able to raise your son to be successful. That is part of your identity. And so when you're able to demonstrate that, it makes you feel so good. So sit back. I want you to write down these 4 Ds that can apply to other areas of your life: relationships, jobs, finances, and especially when it comes to raising your son. So our sons. So I want to make sure that you declare it. You declare what you want for them, and then you get ready for the distress. You're already going through it now with middle school and grades and talking to girls and talking back and not making it to the room and not going to bed, talking on the phone, social media, not studying, getting an attitude, rolling his eyes. I know, issues of orientation, trying to figure out how to handle that. It's a lot to raise a modern day boy, and I'm going to help you out. All right, moms. So let's get busy. Now it's time to declare. Now it's time to throw it up there to the Lord, to God, so that you make sure that you put it out there to higher power. So I want you to say right now, I will raise my son. I want you to say his name. I will raise my son into a smart, well-disciplined, powerful man, no matter what it takes. Say it again. I will raise my son. Say his name or their names into a smart, well-disciplined, powerful man, no matter what it takes. Now, here's why I'm having you do this. The research shows that when you declare something with emotion, with intensity, that you actually believe what you're saying. It raises your level of belief. It raises your level of conviction. And we do what we're convicted to do. We don't do just what we believe in. We do what we have a conviction in. And I know that you are convicted when it comes to raising your son the right way. So one more time, I want you to say it. I don't care who hears you in the house or at work, or if you're on your phone or in your car, wherever you're watching this. I will raise my son into a smart, well-disciplined, powerful man, no matter what it takes. All right, there you go. We've declared it. It's up there. Lord God, I ask and pray that you bless every mother and her son or sons that are watching this so they can be the man that you want him to be, Lord. I ask and declare and praise it up to you, Lord, and give you the awesome praise. These blessings we ask in your name. All right. Now, let's talk about the distress phase. This is something that I see a lot. All right, this is when dads become absent. This is what you do when dads become absent.